hello again from me, Dr. Scribbler of the new University of the Union in Thurgon, and welcome to our 11th lecture on the known world, its peoples and beliefs. For our penultimate lecture, we turn to some of the religions and belief systems that can be found around the known world. First...
Did I get here on time?
Abbot Hisvin, what on earth are you doing here?
When you visited a few months back, you said it was a shame that I would not be able to give the lecture on religion. It took some time to make arrangements to cover my duties as abbot, but I came here as quickly as I could.
But it's hundreds of miles. Have you ridden all the way?
I would not wish to bring discomfort to a horse merely to ease my own journey. Mostly I have walked and run. If I have misunderstood, I can return once I have caught my breath.
Oh, but please come in. I'm simply overwhelmed by your selfless generosity. Please come in and sit down. You know how this works.
I perceive from your notes that this lecture will discuss Toth Tannon, the pythons, and my own solarite faith. Very well, I will avoid anything too esoteric. So, to begin, the most widespread and generally accepted religion in the Union is the worship of Toth Tannon, the tiger god. Temples exist in most of the northern nations. The underlying principles of Toth Tannon are an unconditional love of others and a deep sense of community, as represented by the special mythical relationship, the primordial human Toth, shared with the primordial tiger Tannon. The result of this bond was Toth Tannon, a spiritual manifestation of love, comradeship, and belief in a common good, and is in contrast to the evil and selfishness of Scithos. The tiger god's orange and black robed priests fill an important role within their communities to provide funeral and wedding services as well as spiritual and pastoral support. But the Toth Tannon religion has only very limited political influence. With no overall leader, a council of high priests or archpastors is raised when decisions need to be made, and long and intensive discussions take place to ensure all views are reflected. There also exists, scattered around, a minor but influential faith known as Pythonism, whose symbol is the wise snake. This somewhat reclusive religion, somewhat might describe it more as a philosophy, is very old and regards the accumulation of and use of knowledge to be an inevitable and moral process that should be fostered. For them, true knowledge is innately moral and is the marvellous growth by which life transcends its evil origins. I don't believe I've ever met any myself, though some have surely visited the library at our abbey. My own solar faith was originally seen as a Peshwaran religion, but is increasingly found further north. Indeed, our abbey was only founded 180 years ago. Our philosophy is a denial of the selfishness of Scithos through a life of extreme simplicity and complete selflessness. Most of us are monks or nuns, though there are increasingly lay members who are not called to the monastic life. We abhor violence and seek enlightenment through meditation on the sun, which represents the ultimate transcendence of the evil laws of the material world created by Scithos. Some wander alone, accepting alms from those they meet. Others, like me, live in isolated monasteries, where we welcome all those who seek peace and healing of the body and soul. I think that's everything. I need to get back to the monastery now. We have a peace conference coming up between the Union and the Draconians. I wouldn't want anything to go wrong.
Why, thank you, Abbot. That was excellent. Succinct and informative. It's such a shame the Chancellor couldn't have joined us to hear you speak.
The only person I perceived when I arrived was a man in a cowl outside a rather grand chancery. He gave an unusual shriek when he saw me and then disappeared into a room and slammed the door. Was that him? I could sense he was a troubled man with a shadow on his soul. and I feel he would not appreciate any offer of spiritual assistance.
That sounds entirely like him, alas, and speaking of shadows, our final lecture will cover the draconian imperial faith, Set, the demon god of Anshbad, and of course Scithos. Thank you.
Thank you.